Hey guys, Carl from Purple Moose Plays. Today I'm taking a preview look at a prototype copy of the newest Puzzletales game, Ministry of Lost Things, Case 1, Lint Condition, from designers Mark Larson, Rita Orlov, and Chelsea Stark, and publisher PostCurious. If you're not familiar with any of these games, PostCurious creates these games called Puzzletales that intricately weave together story and a variety of different puzzles. I've played a ton of these in the past and I've really enjoyed a lot of them. So I was incredibly excited to be able to get an early look at this newest one, just now hitting Kickstarter. Let's head down to the table. I can't show you too much about this one because obviously I don't want to spoil anything for you. So I'm going to sort of walk you through the introductory letter thing and then show you a bit of what's inside before coming back here. But anyway, enough talking. Let's head down to the table to see what this one looks like, what's in this, and then I'll meet you back up here to let you know what I think. All right, so before I get started, I just want to point out that everything you see on the screen here will be or is prototype quality. This game is on Kickstarter as I record it. Actually just launched today as I'm sitting down to record this video. So here is the box, nice little small box. Now, as I mentioned, this is prototype quality. You see it's not closing. The actual box will close, but because everything's prototype components and sort of repacked and packed and repacked, it's not fitting in there, but it will obviously in the actual product. So here we go. What I'm going to do is I just got this. I haven't played it yet. I'm going to open it up, show you what's inside the box, and then I'm going to open sort of the first packet of stuff to show you what's in there. I don't know what it is because I haven't looked yet. I haven't tried to solve any problems or puzzles. Clearly, I'm not going to solve anything on screen because I don't want to spoil anything at all. And if you know anything about Puzzletale games, it's just a box chock full of puzzles with generally a very awesome story. So I want to give you some hints of that story, maybe show you some introductory stuff, and then I'm going to cut there. I'll go ahead and play the whole thing, and then I'm going to come back with my thoughts on everything. But let's go ahead and open the box and see what's in there. So right on top there is this letter, which I will read in just a second. And then we've got transmission 1, transmission 2, transmission 3, my hands are getting stuck, transmission 4, transmission 5, and then a refill pack. I'm not going to show you anything under there just in case there's something that's there. But again, there are 5 packets of differing thicknesses in the box. I'm not going to show you anything at all except what's in transmission 1. But before I do that, let's go ahead and read through what it says on here. And it says, "To whom it may concern, thank you for taking on the position of Scout at the Department of Returns. The Ministry of Lost Things, MOLT, provides vital support to the Elusiverse and the fabric of space-time, and we're pleased to welcome you to our cohort and begin your onboarding process. First, allow me to give you some background on our world and explain the nature of your work with us. Have you ever wondered what happens to your loose change, missing socks, or absolutely anything you drop in the seat gap of your car? The answer is simple. It's all in the Elusiverse. See, there are nifty creatures called Neasters. Thanks to a unique molecular structure that mimics that of the common dust bunny, Neasters are the only beings able to travel at will between your world, the Realisphere, and ours, the Elusiverse. Collectors at heart, Neasters have a knack for sniffing out forgotten objects, whether under a fridge, in the lost and found, or behind a bookshelf, and bringing them into the Elusiverse. Most objects quickly settle in as part of the Elusiversian landscape. Some explore a bit before they discover their true purpose. Others, known as wanderlings, choose to perpetually roam around the Elusiverse, and a select few put their ambitions to the test here at the Ministry. Occasionally, there are clerical errors in which a Neaster takes an item that still has sentimental value or purpose in the Realisphere. Naturally, it's quite embarrassing for the Ministry to cause this sort of glitch in the space-time continuum, so this is where the Department of Returns comes in. The MOLT keeps a database of each and every item that comes through the intake department. When we get a signal from the Realisphere that there's been a mistake, we endeavor to reunite the object with its human companion as soon as possible. Unfortunately, we've had trouble keeping up with demand recently, and we're in desperate need of some Realisphere volunteers to offset our caseload. We greatly appreciate your support in this matter. To begin your inquiry, log into the Department of Returns portal on the MOLT website at ministryoflostthings.org. The object in question for this case is listed in our records under serial number D.515C-1915311-B3.AD. Should you find yourself in need of additional assistance, you can access our self-service help system within the portal once you begin the case. Thank you again for volunteering your time to help us maintain elusiversal equilibrium and doing your part to preserve the fabric of space-time. Warmest regards, Penelope Inkford, Chief Object Organizer, MOLT. So already, I have to say, I'm loving this story and the theme that's going on here. But let's go ahead and open transmission 1 and see what is in there. It says do not open until instructed. And so far I haven't been instructed. So actually, I'm going to show you a little bit of what is on the website when I log in on there. Let's see how that works. All right, so here we are on that website. Now, I do have to point out again, this is a prototype. I did get a letter with this package that said that they're still working on the website as well, but it says here, welcome to the Department of Returns web portal. Please enter a case serial number to begin. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in and see what happens. 515C-191-5311 B3.A D. Whoops, maybe I need that dot after the first D as well. All right, submit. You've successfully opened case D515C1915311B3AD. Open transmission 1. So inside here, it's going to ask me to figure some things out. It says, please note, some of these materials are easier for the ministry to generate than others. I've included a pencil icon on the pages which the ministry can replicate should it be necessary. Digital scans of these materials will also be linked in case you wish to avoid damaging the enclosed originals. Use the enclosed map of the Elusiverse to learn mysteries and familiarize yourself with the landscape. Utilize the item retrieval log to answer the following questions. What is the item? Who does the item belong to? Where was it last seen? Which locations should be investigated next? All right, so let's see what the map looks like, just so you can see what I've got. I'm not going to solve anything right now. And actually, I've got the phone set to do not disturb. So let's see if I turn that off, if we can get the map. All right, so here's the Elusiverse map with a bunch of different locations with a funny kind of writing on it. I'm not going to go any more into that because, again, I'm not solving anything right now. I just wanted to see what there is. Now, I'm back here on the screen. It says do not open. Well, I've been instructed to open this to answer a bunch of questions. So let's see what's inside. Transmission 1. Huh, okay, there's that map again. So I didn't really need the picture, that's great, it's here. But the good news is that means that there are likely things in here that I need to like write on or alter in some way. And those are all gonna be marked here with a pencil like that, so I can print those out from the internet to replace if I wanna pass this on to somebody else, which I appreciate. So there's the map. I love the illustration here. Super cool, sort of muted colors. Interesting looking text that clearly isn't regular text, but probably is a code that can be broken in some way. Then I've got an item retrieval log with a bunch of different items that lists what the item is and who retrieved it. Two-sided, and I've got another memo here that I might as well read to you before I go away. It says memo from Department of Returns to the MOLT Scouts, or MOLT Scouts. Transmission 1. In order to facilitate a return, you'll need to determine what the item is, who lost it, and where it was last seen. You'll also need to familiarize yourself with our landscape in order to determine where to look for the object. Regrettably, we do not have the resources to spare an Easter egg translator, but I trust you'll manage to decode the enclosed map of the Elusiverse on your own. I've also included an item retrieval log you can study to learn how MOLT cataloging works. This knowledge will help you answer the aforementioned questions for your case listed under the serial number, and again, D515C-1915-311-B3AD. Cool, okay, so I do definitely have to crack that code, which I will go ahead and do on my own. That's all that I'm going to show you, just to double check. There's nothing else in the envelope, but there are other envelopes in the box, some of which are thicker. Might mean there's some physical stuff in here that I'm excited to see. Again, I don't want to spoil anything more than I've already spoiled because I may have already given away some things or made it partially solvable already. Fingers crossed, nothing's a problem. And if it is, you may see some things disappear. But I think that's good. I did check in to make sure I could show you this first envelope. So that's that. Now I go ahead and go play through the whole experience and then I'll meet you back up top to let you know exactly how I felt about everything I saw and did in this puzzle game. Welcome back. I hope that overview was helpful for you, and I hope that it didn't spoil too much, if anything. So, I mentioned in the introduction I'm a big fan of PostCurious. I've played pretty much everything, not quite, almost everything that they've released. I've played Adrift, I've played Light in the Mist, I've played the first of 3, I believe, packages of Emerald Flame. I'm working on that currently. Up here above my head on top of this shelf, I've got Threads of Fate, is what it's called, yes. I then also did a preview of the Morrison Game Factory, and now I'm previewing this one for you right now. Adrift was a little bit so-so for me. It didn't really connect all that much, but of the other ones, Light in the Mist had an amazing story, like super deep, detailed story that was told really cool sort of in patches throughout time that you were piecing together the story, and it played all around sort of a tarot deck of cards that you were putting the cards together in different ways and solving different puzzles based on different sets of cards mixed together, basically. And I really, really enjoyed that one because the story was so fulfilling, and it was amazing to me that a puzzle game could have such an amazing story. But for that one, for me, it was mostly like, here's a bunch of puzzles, now solve a puzzle and get more of the story. Emerald Flame I'm still playing through, so I can't really say much about. Threads of Fate as well is just sitting unopened on the shelf behind me, but I will get to it soon. But Morrison Game Factory, the previous Kickstarter, their most recent game until this one, was amazing. That was the first of any of their games that I played, and I was simply blown away again by how much story and how much puzzle and how good both the story and the puzzles were in their products. But more importantly, what really caught me about Morrison Game Factory is the story was good, but it was also fun, and it was a little bit tongue-in-cheek, a little bit of humor, but then also the puzzles were all built around sort of objects that tied into the story, and it felt like as I was playing the puzzles, it really sort of connected to that story, and it really felt like I was interacting with the world of the game. So here we have a new one from them, coming just hot on the heels of the Morrison Game Factory, Ministry of Lost Things. You'll see it says Case 1. This is the first of what should be multiple cases in this world, because now, not only have they created a story that works, but they've created an entire world that the story lives in. So we've got this idea of these creatures, Neasters, I believe, I forget the name exactly, I'm sorry, but I think they were called Neasters, living in this other world where all of your lost things go, basically. They come and collect lost things that people don't need anymore, and those lost things sort of get a life. They become corporeal, I guess. They become a creature of some kind and live in this world. So you've got this really cool, whimsical world that's made up of all of these lost things that are sort of living out their best lives. But then occasionally, sometimes a lost thing that's taken in wasn't really lost and it was sort of misplaced, and the owner of that thing is really sad because that thing's missing. So now these sort of group of the Ministry of Lost Things is working to find these things and get them back to their owners. And the story goes that they are now reaching out into our world to ask for our help in pairing those people with those lost things. And the puzzles in this game is basically that. It's me working with this ministry to try and reunite lost things with a person. And it really, really, really works. It's really cool how much the story and the puzzles. And inside this box, you can see one right here is an envelope of stuff that basically it says Transmission 1. I was sent stuff by the ministry to sort of look through and to help piece together the information I need ultimately to reunite this person with this lost thing. But it's amazing to me how each of the envelopes, while it is just printed materials most of the time or tiles of some kind or what have you, it really feels as if I am kind of getting the artifacts sent to me by this ministry. Now, granted, some of the physical objects are not the actual physical object, but a tile with a picture of that physical object, but yeah, I'll give it to them. It still feels like I'm connecting with the story directly. I'm getting these things and looking at these things and using these things to figure out some kind of story in addition to figuring out each individual kind of puzzle. And now it's not just a puzzle with a story that follows. Now the puzzle is the story, and I'm continuing to sort of unravel the story and work on solving something that means something in the story. And I applaud them for how much they've done that here. The world this time is rich. The characters are great. It's super cute. It's super charming. It feels kind of Pixar-ish in the way of sort of Toy Story or Inside Out, or those kinds of very personal, very emotional connection kind of thing, but also very cutesy and funny and charming at the same time. The illustrations tie into that. Everything just feels really fun, really cute, really charming. I know I keep repeating those words, but that's what this game is. And it just feels really good. This is now the second game from them. I mean, I've connected to a lot of their games, but this is now the second game following Morrison Game Factory that just makes me feel a certain way that I don't even know how to begin to explain. When I'm playing these games, I am actually transported into the world of these games. And that seems funny because I'm just playing with cards and items on a table and occasionally typing something into a computer, but somehow I really feel connected to the world and to the story and to the things that I'm doing, and it really feels cool. It's unlike any other experience I've had, particularly in this sort of solving puzzle genre of escape rooms in a box or puzzle box or whatever you want to call them. I'm loving it. Now, the puzzles themselves. The puzzles in this game come in a variety of different sort of packages. There are sort of code-based cipher kind of problems. There are physical sort of building puzzle kind of problems or puzzles. There are logic-based puzzles, which is really fun for me because a lot of times you don't see that kind of puzzle. But what I mean by that is if I know this, then this, and then if I know then this, and this information plus this information means this must be true, and then it all sort of slots together in a logical kind of way. I love that kind of a puzzle, and there were some of those in here as well. So honestly, every puzzle in this game, in this particular package worked very well for me. None of them were incredibly difficult, but none of them were super simple, like, aha, that's the answer, done. There is a very nice hint system online. I did use the hint system once or twice, mostly because the first two envelopes, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of rushing through, and I really do need to, and I sort of naturally fell into the rhythm of doing, slowing down and enjoying the experience and enjoying the story and letting the puzzle play out until I figure out the puzzle, instead of rushing to try and get to the answer of the puzzle. Because there were a couple of times, like the first packet, there's a puzzle in there that I basically knew what I was supposed to do, and I just couldn't get over that first little bump of how exactly to do it. And I thought, maybe I'm wrong, maybe there's something else I should be doing. And then when I checked the hint, sure enough, that's what I was meant to be doing. Same thing in the second puzzle, or second package. I kind of knew what I was supposed to do, but I couldn't really figure out how to make it work. And again, I checked the hint, and it kind of pushed me just enough that I needed to without spoiling things. But there was also a physical puzzle in there that I had mostly solved, and there was just one thing that just wasn't working, and I swore, uh-oh, this is a prototype. Something's not the right size. Something's just a little bit off, so it's not quite working the way it's supposed to be. No, that's not true at all. I checked the hint. I regretted checking the hint because as soon as I did it, I was like, oh yeah, I didn't try that, did I? And it works perfectly, and yep, I'm the idiot now. But anyway, it felt good even though I needed that little push because I had managed to put so much of it together that it was just like, hey idiot, pay attention to this spot. And anyway, the puzzles work really well. It's just the right amount of difficulty. This is an easier box than some of the other stuff that I've done from them for sure. Each envelope takes somewhere between half an hour and an hour, closer to the half-hour side. So this is roughly a 2 to 3 hour kind of experience to play through the whole thing. In the overview, you saw there were 5 envelopes. There's really only 4 envelopes of puzzles. The 5th one is just sort of something that comes after, and you'll see what that is. I'm not going to say any more than that. But yeah, you've basically got 4 experiences here that are 30 minutes to an hour, closer to the 30-minute side, but realistically the experience feels wonderfully. It's the same as if I watch a movie that's 90 minutes or 2 hours and it feels like an experience. This pulls you into that experience with the physical interaction of the puzzles while having an equally interesting story told to you. I can't say enough good about this game. I should talk about the online system. I mentioned the hint system is good. The online system is nice because it asks you a series of questions. So it's kind of pushing you to figure out, this is the kind of information you need to find out from the puzzles. But then also when you type in the information, it tells you if it's wrong or if it's right. So it does give you a little bit of a push like, no, that's not right, but come back to that spot. Or these 3 answers are right, but this one's not, so that's the only one I need to go back. It's not that, oh, which one am I getting wrong or where did I make a mistake? There's very clear direction through things to help you figure out exactly what it is that you should be doing. I should also mention that some of the puzzles as well, you did have sort of the ability to brute force. I don't want to say brute force, but there were some puzzles that you could solve by a specific way, maybe a physical way or something. But then on top of that, there was an extra level of, well, this works if you think about it this way, and this works if you think about it that way. So it's almost as if the puzzle was kind of double or triple coded even to give you different ways to sort of attack the same puzzle. And that felt really cool and really interesting to me. And it also meant that I didn't have to have some huge leap of logic if I could figure out the other way to solve the puzzle instead. So again, I'm really loving this. I'm very excited that this is a case 1 because that means I get to go back to this world, have more of these sort of emotional tales told through somebody's lost stuff. I'm excited. I'm very excited. I will continue to keep my eye on this company. I will very likely be back with some overview or at least small coverage of both Emerald Flame and Threads of Fate when I do finally get to them. As always, I hope that this video was helpful for you. As I'm recording this, this game is on Kickstarter. Check the link down below if this seems like something you'd be interested in. I hope that this video was helpful for you. As always, if it was, I do ask that you like, subscribe, and click the bell icon below. And I'll see you all next time.